No.
I love it.
So he
Look at that.
He wanted to put it together right in back here, so
Oh my God, that's
that
awesome.
it was fresh and ready to go. So
He is the best. I've known him for a long time. Great guy.
he's a wonderful guy to have in an alley too. If you're ever
Really?
in a bar fight,
He's scrappy, right?
He's a really good guy to have. Yeah.
Thanks for making the time, Vito. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
of course.
And I know I'm going to give a shout out to Regina and Michael. Are they still in New York?
I think they're getting back today.
They're getting back today. So I was talking to Regina while she was in New York, and she made it so that we could get Vito to come on and join us. The Dorrance for a very long. How old are you now? God,
7.
7 years
Yeah,
old.
I think we just turned 7.
So for the last 7 years has been known as a cocktail spot to go to. You guys have gotten some world-renowned press out there.
We have, and we're some of the people that you've already had on were part of our opening team there. So we're kind of the stump that started this weird, nerdy cocktail tree that has grown in Providence. And we had just an amazing team at the beginning, and now they're all over Providence. And
It pays homage to the style of things too, and you know,
really does,
Marco was just complimenting you and saying that he's learned things out of your playbook, and you know how you guys are all mentors and work together. And I have this conversation with Regina, the owner of the Dorrance, is that we have all come together in so many ways. You guys just hosted the pie event that you had over there.
It was ridiculous.
Oh my God, that was crazy. If you want to go on and see it, you want to laugh, you got to go on and check out this pie event on I think it's YouTube, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's all over the place.
It was everything the Marx Brothers wanted it to be. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So tell me about, we've heard about the Dorrance, we've talked about the Dorrance before, Regina's been in a couple times for us, but really what I want to talk about is your background, how you got into this, and then talk about the style of the menu and the cocktails that you have now.
Sure. I grew up in the business, so I was raised in taverns. I'm the son of a barman, so cocktails and bars were always just the funnest place for me. It always just seemed like the place to be. So I've always loved, I mean, this sounds like a raging alcoholic talking, but I've always loved bars. They're just fun. They're exciting. You never know what's going to happen. Every day is different. Right. So I've worked, now I'm 21 plus years into the business, and I've worked at just about every kind of bar you can possibly imagine. I was drawn more to the nerdy cocktail side when I moved here. I was working at a great place in Hoboken, New Jersey that did all fresh ingredients. We made beautiful drinks, but then when I moved to Providence, actually working with Jesse, we really started to elevate our game a little bit and do some more making our own syrups and using some cooler ingredients and getting back into a style of bartending from, pre-Prohibition. Right. Pretty old school.
So you've really seen the evolution, because you just mentioned Prohibition, and that's so funny is because that's when you see it, and it's crazy to think about it at a time when alcohol was illegal. That's when it flourished. Yeah. And I don't mean just flourish from the fact of people drinking, but the style. Like everybody wanted something creative, something different, something new was out there.
You really needed to impress to get people to come to your specific place.
Right.
So bartenders weren't like they are, now of just somebody who's pouring a beer and a shot and listening to your problems. It was more like the way we think of chefs now. So bartenders all had their own specific styles, and they used great ingredients, and it was a really exciting place. And then they let women in the bar, and that made it even better. So it was like everybody wanted to hang out and have great drinks. And
well, and I think, and specifically in your case too, I think it's about forming relationships. Is that I've been there where I've come in, and you guys have been there like, oh, I know what you had last time, but you got to try this time. To do that. And I think that's again to your credit for there, but also from the consumer base of wanting to become more educated and try new things.
Well, that's our whole goal. Is our goal isn't to teach you about some vermouth you've never heard about and talk to you for 27 minutes about botanicals and herbs. Our goal is for you to have fun. I want you to have a great time. If you want to drink a Cosmo and have a great time, awesome. If you want to Narragansett and have a great time, if you want to nerd out and talk crazy about cocktails and spirits,
you can do it.
We can do it. It's great, but I just want people to have fun. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's everything I've learned from working in neighborhood taverns and sports bars and dive bars and cafes and Italian restaurants, all kind of into one. So we really try to be everything for everybody.
And you've done a fantastic job. So before we get to this, and this is smelling amazing, it's going to make me want to devour everything today. So before we get to this, tell us about an overview of how many different cocktails, because right now you've got a list.
We do. Actually, right now, we when I really came back on board full-time, I wanted to pay homage to all the people who were there before and kind of show off where they went to now. So right now we're running our greatest hits menu. Awesome. So we've taken all the greatest drinks, and it took me like 3 days and a few fistfights over, like I got it down to 30 drinks. Really? And then had to get it down to like 16. So every drink on there right now is an absolute banger. They're all amazing cocktails. And you'll see drinks by Jesse, who was just on. You'll see drinks by our friend Harrison, who's at Dead Rabbit in New York City right now, which is the best bar in America.
That is so cool.
You'll see drinks by everybody who spent time behind that bar. The best thing that they did, and it actually, our menu is kind of cool because it shows where they are now too, so you can kind of see, like we were talking about before, that stump
so cool.
and where everybody has gone. So
That's
it's
awesome.
it's really cool, and every drink is amazing.
So the greatest hits is what the people are going to look for.
Right now, this is the greatest hits menu. Yeah.
All right. So what'd you bring me today?
Today I brought you 2 drinks, and I brought you our North Atlantic halibut from Chef. He insisted that I bring you the fish dish.
He knows that I love seafood. That's
yes.
awesome.
So really beautiful local ingredients, local carrots. We've got Kalamata olives, tomatoes over jasmine rice, and halibut. The drink that pairs best, I feel, with it is a drink called the Briar Rose.
This is the Briar Rose
This
here?
is the Briar Rose. It's a gin-based cocktail, and it uses Damrak gin, which, when you're working with gins, a lot of people, when they hear gin, they think pine trees, and I don't like gin, and gin never really worked for me.
Oh my God, that's so much flavor.
But this is a really beautiful gin to work with citrus. They actually use pulp. Instead of just using juniper and then peels and herbs, they use actual orange, lemon, grapefruit pulp. So it's a really bright gin, and it just dances when you make a citrus drink with it, when you shake it up. So it's got Damrak gin, fresh lemon juice. It's got a blackberry and hibiscus tea syrup that we make in-house, and then a little bit of Metoxa, which is a rose brandy. That gives it some of those cool floral notes.
Oh my God, it's so. I wasn't expecting, when you're talking about gin-based, I wasn't expecting so much flavor.
It's really, for people who are like, I don't like gin, this is one of those great drinks you can make them that, if they're vodka drinkers, that makes them go, oh, well, maybe I do like gin.
I can totally see
it's really approachable
and eating that for
goes
sure.
fantastic with this dish, too.
My God, I can totally see that. See, and this is where, and we were talking, Regina's been on with me, and Michael Lester, Regina's husband, who is a wine person like myself, but it's also into cocktails. Sure. But this is where we want to educate everyone and want to go out there, is that going to the Dorrance, being able to bring Vito out and talk to him and say, okay, I'm having the halibut tonight, what's the perfect cocktail to go with it? I would take this in a heartbeat. I'd probably still have my glass of wine at some point during the night, not gonna lie, but I would take this in a heartbeat to try this, because in tasting this and knowing how good this dish is from the chef, it's perfect.
Yeah, they're both floral, they're both really bright, they're great for the spring, for the summer, they just kind of hold hands as you have dinner.
So is it happening, I mean, I have to imagine at the Dorrance it is because of your style, but is it happening more and more that people are coming in and saying, I'm going to have this tonight, what do you recommend?
Yes, yeah, that happens a lot now. We're lucky enough, like I said, to kind of be in it long enough to where people trust us. Right. So, instead of the people who, when we first opened up, saying, I only drink Captains and Cokes, I only drink this. Now people are kind of opening up and saying, okay, I'm going to order this. What do you recommend? And that's really a lot of fun for us.
And I had this conversation with Regina probably back around the holidays, is I had someone that was doing a holiday dinner/party there, and they wanted specialty cocktails. They wanted it to be different for their guests, something that came out. So even people from an event standpoint, which the Dorrance, you guys are perfected, from weddings to corporate to social, the space that you have there is awesome for it. But I think that that's happening more now, which was great for me from an event professional side of things, to see that people were caring that much about uplifting their event.
Yeah, and it's not just, I mean, it's weddings, it's events. It's not like the old days of I have an open bar and somebody brings in a cart that's got one whiskey, one tequila, one gin, one vodka. Now brides, when they come in, that's one of the things that they say when they want weddings at our places. You guys make the best cocktails.
We want a specialty cocktail.
Can you make us a cocktail? So it's kind of cool to have, have the bride has her specific drink, the groom has his specific drink. They could be completely different, and it's a lot more fun for their guests too.
So I've noticed that even more in the events side of things that I'm doing now, is that instead of going even with the full bars, we're offering beer, wine, and 4 or 5 different specialty cocktails, because people enjoy it more, and they're trying. You're getting them out of their comfort zone to try things.
Yeah,
so
people want nice things. It's not that hard to follow. I mean, just think back to the old days when you used to go to a gas station and you got a cup of coffee that may have been there sitting for 3 days on the same burner. Now you go to a Shell and there's 17 different choices.
Coffee,
there's Green Mountain. There's all these there's breakfast blend. It's like you don't have to go to the finest dining, fanciest places to get nice things. We all want nice things, and we want them to be approachable and not intimidating. And you don't want to feel like an idiot when you're ordering stuff. You just want to go in and try stuff.
Vito's nailed it. All right, so before I let go, we got to go to this last one. What do we got?
Yes, this is my favorite drink I've ever made.
Your favorite
this
drink.
is my absolute favorite drink. It's kind of an homage to my grandfather.
Unique presentation.
Yes, it's called the Smoking Gun. It was originally called the Nick, which is my grandpa's name. So it's a Geneva gin, which is the original gin that's leaning more towards a whiskey. It's not really a gin at all. It's malty. It's got a higher proof whiskey in it that bumps up the ABV a little bit, gives it a little bit of body, a little fire, makes it really long. It's got an Italian Amaro that gives it a little sweetness and a little bitter
the
at
sweetness
the end.
on the finish.
Yeah, and then what really brings it together is a Havana and Hyde bitters. So it's basically a Cuban-style tobacco and leather bitters.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like drinking an old-fashioned out of a baseball glove, in the best possible way.
No, but there's a lot of, it's again, not the type of flavor to this, but I wouldn't put this down.
The exact opposite drink.
Right.
Yeah, a really beautiful sipper if you like Manhattans, if you like old fashions. It's boozy. It's not the kind of thing you have 5 of.
Right.
But it's a really great drink to sip on, and it just goes so well with our decor and our vibe and the place too. Kind of that old school Madman, Manhattan, old fashioned kind of vibe.
So my last question for you before I let you go, because you've done a fantastic overview for us. Is there a style or maybe even a specific drink that kind of resonates right now as one of your favorites? And I know you probably have a few, so I'm just saying for maybe one of your
I'm
favorites.
really excited to see people going back to old fashions. As much as I love grabbing 7 bottles to make a drink, there's just something so beautiful and pure about an old fashioned. An old fashioned is just spirit, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of bitters. And when you stir them, it kind of lets the spirit shine a little bit more. It lets the spirit show off. So if you've got these gorgeous bourbons that have been sitting in barrels for 7 to 10 years, and you're grabbing all these other bottles, you're kind of disrespecting it a little bit. So
it's so funny because Marco just said the same thing when he was coming in. He was saying about honoring the actual
Sure,
grain, the actual alcohol that's there. That's an awesome point.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going over to the Dorrance, which I know a lot of people have been going over on a regular basis, and there's some busy weekends and stuff coming up, even Waterfire weekends going up, talk to him about a cocktail. Ask him what cocktail will go with your meal, because Vito's got it down and they've got a great team over there. So I'm Rick Simone. Thank you for joining me on The Taste today. I hope you enjoyed our captivating cocktails. Next week we'll be covering National Wine Day and have some great wine representation coming in. So completely switching gears from that. But I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you for joining me today. Vito, this was awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you
Appreciate
so
it, man.
much.
It was awesome.
This was really great, really great, really great, really great.